Get this question a lot of what sort of things do you need to have in order to succeed in anatomy? What sort of things do I need to order? What things do I need to buy? Is this really essential? So I thought I would share a few of them. The first would be a set of highlighters and your textbook. Now, some people might be doing it online. Some people might be using a physical text. Either way, it's important to have your textbook, because no matter how good of a professor you have, you're not always going to be able to connect the language that they use perfectly in your brain. The more ways that you encounter the information in a reliable and consistent way, right, the better it's going to be. So if you have a textbook, right, the textbook that your professor assigns, as well as a way to use the textbook, right, so highlighters, pens, those sorts of things, the better it is you're going to be able to hold on to the information. The second thing that I would say is important to have is a lab manual, right? So some classes have a lab manual that's just handed out to you. Some have different worksheets. Some use a fully online service like my institution. And again, having another source to be able to engage in that material is helpful. Some students have asked me if an app, there are many apps that are out there, could be useful. I think any app could be helpful so long as it allows for you to look at the structures in 3D and allows for you to look at the structures with the same names as the ones that you're going to be using in class. There are some terms that have different names than each other. And then the last thing, and I think this may be the most important for during class, is some way to take notes. And most importantly, I would say don't use a laptop. A laptop is actually shown to not be very effective at application. It is shown to be very useful for learning new words and new terms, but it's not useful for application, which anatomy, we're starting to apply new words to new things. So the two best ways: classic notebook, just get a notebook, pen. You could print out the figures that your professor is using and take that notes there. Or if you have it in your resources available to you, recording it, taking it on an iPad or a Surface, any tablet, and you can take the figures from your textbook, you can take the figures from the slides your professor provides, if they provide it, and then you can write on them. I've seen both of those be highly effective in the classroom. However, I often see if a student uses a laptop, it is not as effective. And so however, there are some students who have accommodations needs, and I work alongside those students to see how we can bolster their application skills when they're using a laptop. But those are what I would recommend. Your book, ways to engage with the book, an iPad or notebook, and of course, some resource to help you study for the lab section.